Hey, good morning, everybody. Sarasota Tim coming to you from inside my beautiful travel trailer. It is a 2024 Flagstaff 25-foot FKBS, which stands for Front Kitchen Bed Slide. And I am embarking on a new chapter in my life. Seems like I've had a few chapters in my life start up over the last few months. And I've embarked on different journeys. I went across country, I came back, and now we're going to actually do that again starting today. And I wanted to make it clear that whatever I'm doing, I'm also depending on the good Lord to direct my steps. You know, we can make our plans, but He directs our steps. And if you want to make God laugh, just tell Him what you're going to do. Just tell Him what your plans are. And but He lights my feet and lights my path. In Psalm 119 talks about that, and that we are to meditate on His Word day and night. And I wanted to talk about meditation this morning before I am going to do Jesus Calling. We're going to read the devotional. But I've been listening to some sermons for the last few days to really kind of I've been meditating to kind of get my mind right as I embark on this, because this is a different one for me. And I've been listening to Dr. Charles Stanley, who I put a lot of stock in his sermons. I like to listen to a lot of things. I like to listen to the audio Bible. I read the Bible on my phone. And I'll be honest with you, I do not own a Bible anymore. I started using the Bible app some time back, but I want to pick up, and I'm going to, in my travels here as soon as I see one, but I need a large font. That's kind of why I got the app. And the app can also allow you to read various versions of the Bible that are easier to understand. And I know that some people think that it's only the King James Version that you should read, but I think that any version that God opens your ears and your heart and speaks to you is the version. If you have no problem understanding the theist, thouist, thoist, King James Version, and you've studied the Bible and you're a scholar, then, go for it. But I also believe that when you read the Bible, that you need to pause after reading and ask God to tell you and to make you understand what you've read. It's very important that we don't just read the Bible and say, all right, I read a chapter this morning, but you don't remember or understand what you read. So God teaches us in the Bible to meditate on His Word. And I was listening to Dr. Charles Stanley talking about meditation, and there's lots of different ways to define meditation. But when you basically ask God to help you understand and to open your ears and heart, He will guide you and direct you. But whether you follow the Bible in your life or not, you are listening to somebody. You are following something. If it's something on television, or the friends that you're hanging around with, or clubs that you're in, or different things like that, you are following somebody and you are being programmed, and you are meditating on that, because whatever it is that you're interested in is what you're giving thought to. Whatever you focus your attention on is what you give strength to. So let's say this is a Bible, and if you were to, make this your God and meditate on it and be interested in what it says, then you can change your life. And people say, well, that was written thousands of years ago. Well, let me tell you something. Did God not know today what will happen? Does He not know the beginning to the end? So even though God used to speak to prophets audibly in the Old Testament days, He has given us His Word where He speaks to us when we read it. So, get rid of that notification there. So His Word is alive right here in the Bible. And you have to pick it up. You have to read it. You have to meditate on it. You have to try to ask God to make you understand it. Listen to sermons like Dr. Charles Stanley and start programming your mind. Going to church once every week on Sundays, or even on a Wednesday night. And then the rest of the week, you're watching your favorite programs on TV and they're not godly shows, or you're going to places, bars, or you're hanging around the wrong kind of people. That's going to be a greater influence on you than going to church once a week or reading your Bible occasionally. So if you want to have a better life, let's take an example. If you went out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean with a sailboat and you threw overboard your compass and the oars and even the sail, I mean, what would you be doing? What would happen to you? You'd just be drifting around, being blown to and fro by the winds, and eventually you'd either sink or get blown somewhere. But you would have no direction in life, none. And we all need direction. You taught your children direction and rules when they grew up. Without direction, what would they have done without you caring about them? Changing their diaper and showing them right from wrong, educating them. So you have to do the same thing. It's a lifelong lesson that you have to continue to do. And the older you get, when your brain is more, is bigger and understands more, it's really probably never bigger, just understands more, is when you need to stop listening to the world. That if you listen to this, look at television, what it does. Everything you watch is about how to be more beautiful, how to be more successful, how to have this, how to have that. And eventually you buy it. You buy into it. You're programmed. And most of that stuff isn't even true. Most of it isn't. So what is happiness in life? Happiness is knowing God and having Him direct your paths, because there's so many blessings that people miss out on that don't listen and follow Him. It's just like your children. There's so many things they wouldn't have gotten had they not shown they listened to what you taught them, and they were obedient, and they got good grades in school, and they showed you and reciprocated their love. Then you just want to do everything in your power for your children, to give them whatever you're able to do, within reason. Some people spoil their children, and that's not so good either, but you teach them values. When I was young, I took out the trash for my parents, and I also took out the trash for some neighbors to get some money to go skating. I wasn't afraid to earn to get rewarded. So, teach your children values, mow the grass, maybe do dishes, help out with the cooking, cleaning the house, keeping their room clean, doing certain things they can do before they're even old enough to get a job. Teach them to kick in, teach them to be responsible, because this will only carry down to the next generation. But a lot of us grow up, unfortunately, that weren't taught the Word of God, weren't taught values. The parents didn't care much about what they did. They let them get into all these troubles in school, and it's just so. You can look at that as an older person and say, no, that's not good. This is a better way. Acting right, talking right, having good children. And then you see these people over here that don't act right, don't talk right, doing everything wrong, breaking every law. And how anyone cannot see black and white is beyond me. So do you want to do right, or do you want to do wrong? There's only two ways of doing anything in this world. That's the right way and the wrong way. There's no in between. So meditating on God is very important, because if you don't, everything that you do every day is meditating in your head, because whatever you're thinking on and watching and doing is programming you. So let that be something you can think about. And maybe you already know this, but maybe you're not doing it enough, and you need to spend more time. You need to make time. And that doesn't mean reading the Bible while you have your favorite television show on. That means turning everything off, going into your room, sitting in your living room, turning everything off and getting quiet and speaking to God. And that's why He gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. He wanted us to listen twice as much as we spoke. So you ask God, speak to me, show me why my life is not going the direction I want it to do. There's something in your heart that's not right. You know, a lot of people, when Jesus walked the earth, they knew him as he grew up. From a kid, he was crucified at 35 years old, but he grew up, and people knew him as just a kid and a carpenter, the story goes. And then when he started teaching people, the people that knew him, they were like, isn't this the guy live down the street? Who does he think he is? And so this is what people do to you and I, that, you know, we're in a relationship with you, that are your friends, that remember you before you became a Christian, remember how you acted when, you know, you tried to clean up your act, when you used to drink or do drugs, or you stole, or you cheated on your spouse, or whatever it is that some people know about you. And then now you want to preach or tell them how God's changed your life. And they're like, aren't you the guy that, don't tell me anything. I remember when you were well, you are a new creature. And even Jesus said in the Bible that no man is honored in his own town. That's why he left where he was raised and went other places to teach people about God and how to live, because people that might listen to me, that know me, and say, this guy, I remember this guy. Who's he? You know? And then others that have just met me and they're hearing some inspiration, they're like, oh, that's really good. You know, I really want to. So people in their minds, they judge. And we shouldn't do that, because everyone, you know, can have a change of heart, can have a change of habit, can change their life at any point. It doesn't matter what you've done before. God has already paid for that. You don't have to think that you're not worthy and that you can just continue to sin and to live this life that's ungodly because you think you're beyond hope, or your parents didn't pet you enough, or whatever. Get with it and realize that there's truth and there's lies. The truth, I'm using this as a Bible, the truth lies right here. Forgive the pun. The truth is in this book. The truth has always been in this book, the Bible. It's the direction to life. And we all have issues. I don't care how much money you got, where you live, what color you are, who you are, how old you are, anything. You have got issues, troubles, worries, anxieties, concerns, storms in your life. They come and they go. How do you handle them? Yeah, if you don't have God in your life, and if you don't pray about it, and if there's certain things that you're praying and praying and praying, you say you're a Christian, and you pray and you pray and you pray and you pray, and you say you've been praying for forever for this certain thing, this certain person, this certain whatever you want. And God promises that if you pray, he hears your prayer, and he'll either answer it, yes, no, or I got something better. You know, no, not right now, but I got something better. But if you're not seeing an answer to your prayer, then ask yourself this question. Ask God to show you, what is it in your life, what is it in your heart that you have in your heart that's stopping you from achieving this goal, this wish, this prayer that you so want. And if it's something that's just, you know, $1 million, something like that, we're not talking about that. But if you've got a genuine prayer that you wish or hope, and God wants you to have it, but he also chastises and teaches his children that aren't living. I mean, what if God just allowed us to sin and without any recourse and gave us everything we wanted? Well, then what kind of life would that be? No, he chastises us. He reproves us because he wants us to grow stronger in our Christian life and our character. You know, the old self is gone. You're a new creature. The renewing of your mind. He wants you to go out and spread the good news. Tell other people, like I do, about your previous life, you know, your story. And so that people can relate, like, you know, I did that too. So maybe there's hope for me, you know, and then they see you by your fruit. They see what you're doing, what you have, and how things just keep falling into your lap and keep going your way. Not like money and well, it can be that. It can also be prosperity. It can be direction. It can be living a life of fun. It can be just, what you would think, man, I wish I could do that, or that's a great looking life, Well, those are blessings. Those aren't anything that people are creating. Those are people that are living their life for God, above their spouse, above anybody else. They love God more than anything else, and they ask and meditate on Him. Even if it's private and you don't know it, that they're speaking to Him every day, which is the way it should be. God honors that. God will honor you and change your life. He has changed mine, even in a very short time. I've had blessings most of my life, but I've also backslid. I've went backwards a couple of times on certain things. And guess what happened? I was chastised. I suffered. I lost some things. I wasn't getting what I wanted. My prayers weren't being answered. And I kept acting like I didn't know why. Or, my life wasn't terrible, but it wasn't what I wanted it to be. And really, it was because I had things in my heart that I just refused to hold on to. When you hold on tight to something and you're not generous and you don't share and you don't open up your thoughts, your wallet, your time, and everything else, it's like when water dams up against something and it can't flow. It gets stagnant. It gets stale. It gets old and, cruddy, and bacteria it just becomes terrible. But when water just flows and things flow through your hand, it just keeps being replenished. Things come into your life. One thing goes out and a better thing comes in. It just flows. Life just flows. Now, does that mean you just give away everything you have? No. I mean that you just don't, hold on to bitterness, to unforgiveness, to judgment, to criticizing and being, what you're not supposed to be. You know the wrong thing. Absolutely. Everybody that does something wrong, I don't care how small it is, your brain knows you just did something wrong. You just did something unkind. You were not what Jesus would do. You know this. I don't care whether you believe in God or not. You know right from wrong, or you really are hopeless. So stop holding on tight to things that you feel about politics, races, genders, money, people, types of vehicles. Quit being so adamant and dogmative about you know everything. If you know everything, then get on TV today and help us all out while you know everything. You don't know everything. Only thing you know is what God gives you. Every breath that you've got, you were given. Everything that you own was given to you. You didn't accomplish anything. It can all be taken away from you like that. You could die tomorrow. You could die today. You could get cancer today. You could get a heart attack today. And it happens every day. And for you to just walk along like life is free, you're doing it all, you're boasting about what you're going to do next month, or you got this goal, you're going to do this in 6 months, or you're going to take this cruise, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. When that's the story in the Bible where the guy said, hey, I've done very well. Look at my crops. I know what I'll do. I'll tear down my barns. I'll build bigger barns, and I'll stow away, and I'll sit back and be fat and sassy and say, look what you've accomplished. Now you can sit back. And then God said to him, you fool, for tonight your life will be claimed from you. Your soul will be called. So you just don't know, folks. Think God every day for every breath you take, for everything that you have, for your children, for your spouse, for your job, that your car started. Thank God that you have an opportunity to go out and minister and share the good news to somebody today. You know, the other day I mentioned it already, this guy Damon that I met, this young kid, 25 years old. He had already been through all kinds of stuff that I never really got involved in when I was that young. I tried a few things and, you know, I went through my issues. But this kid, you know, was really sharing and opened up to me. And he already cleaned his act up. And now he's a follower of Jesus Christ. And he's riding a nice Harley Davidson. He's married. He couldn't speak highly enough about his wife. Now, these are kids. And he says about how much she's pulled him through and supported him and all that. And that's God working in her life to him. And he called out. And he must have really meant it in his heart. And so God worked. And let me tell you, when you do call out, and I've called it, I've had storms in my life, and I've meant it. When I hit my knees and I cried out to God, I needed him right then and there. You know, not just for my daily, you know, help me to get by today and help me to, you know, have my daily task. Let me do something for you. I'm talking about when I had a storm in my life come about and my heart was hurting and I didn't know which way to turn. And he was faithful every time, he has been. And this is why I believe. And so, you know, for people that would like to judge me or other people, or the people that think they know me or know an old me and they want to still lay judgment, you need to look into your own heart. You need to, you know, read your Bible and understand that God says that, you know, before you look on somebody else, look in the mirror. You know, look at your own eye before you point out other people's specks in their eyes. Look at the board in your eye. So don't judge. Don't be critical. Don't do the wrong thing. Do the right thing. Just start being kind and nice. The golden rule is what we constantly talk about on this channel. It really all comes to one thing, and that's just to treat others like you want to be treated. It's so easy to do that when you meet someone, or you're driving your car, or whatever you're doing in a store, put someone before you. Wouldn't you want someone to put you before them in line, a parking spot, when you turn your turn signal on, tell you to go ahead? Wouldn't you like someone to smile at you and say good morning or good afternoon to you if you met them? Wouldn't you like someone to offer you a favor? Wouldn't you like someone to just take your cart for you and return it? Wouldn't you like gestures to be coming to you like left and right, like some humble servant coming to you and wanting to make you comfortable? That's what Jesus did. And that's what, if you do, puts the biggest smile on his face. And he says, well done, my child. You have learned. You have read well. You are doing what I would do. You are treating my creation, this other person that I created, God says this, and you're treating them with respect and with love, because the golden rule is treat others like you want to be treated. And he said the greatest commandment is love. Love conquers everything. Now, you don't have to love evil people or bad things. You can just simply, with those kinds of issues, just say, you know what, Father, this is beyond my purview, and I don't understand it. I don't want to understand it. I just turn that over to you. But we don't want to reciprocate evil for evil. We just want to, like he said, turn the other cheek. You know, when they ask for your tunic, give them your cloak. Or when they ask for your cloak, give them your tunic too. You know, just here. Now go away. You know, he will take care of you. There's a judge, not me. I'm not your judge. But I don't want to be any part of your life or your sin. And so you turn from that. But those that you can help and those that you can inspire and share with, then, you know, do it as you're commanded. Now, that's enough. Let's open up Jesus Calling today. It's the 28th. And like I said, today I've been really studying a lot in the last few days because I'm not scared. I have a little angst about, I took this one trip and I knew I had my camper here, with an address, with a destination, with a home base, with, whether it be temporary or not. I've got several home bases, OPHs, other people's houses, but it's just like I left something behind that I could come back to. And now I'm going to actually embark, and until I, pick a place that I might stay at for any length of period of time, I'm pretty much just going out. And it's the first time in my life I've done that. I've taken many cross-country trips, but I had a home, that I returned to. It was just a trip. It was just a vacation. And this is a new thing in my life. I'm excited about it, and at the same time, I'm a little so I'm truly praying and asking God to direct the front end of that Tundra and to direct my mind and my thoughts of where to go. Because I actually don't have any direction as of yet. And I'm coming down to actually a few hours of leaving. So it'll work out, and I know that when I turn the key, I'll go in the right direction. And at the same time, it's kind of fun. But there's a lot of emotions going on. So I've been listening to a lot of sermons and reading the Bible and reading on my phone and praying of God about things, and it's really helped me out. It really has. It's made me feel a lot better. Now, today is the 28th, and then today's devotion right here, and we have 3 scriptures below it, and it says, "As you look into the day that stretches out before you, you see many choice points along the way. The myriad possibilities these choices present can confuse you. Draw your mind back to the threshold of this day where I stand beside you, lovingly preparing you for what is ahead." So don't get ahead of your thoughts. Just draw back your mind to the threshold of this day. Don't be thinking about tomorrow, where you're going, because I'm not going to be where I'm going today. You must make your choices one at a time, since each is contingent upon the decision that precedes it. Well, that's very interesting. Choose your thoughts one at a time because they're contingent upon the decisions that precede it. Instead of trying to create a mental map of your path through this day, focus on my loving presence with you. So instead of worrying about everything, just know that God is with you. Isn't that simple? That's comforting right there. Like, okay, where am I going today? Well, I'm not worried about it. God, I know you're with me. You're my co-pilot. Okay, instead of trying to create a mental map of your path through this day, focus on my loving presence with you. I will equip you as you go, that you can handle whatever comes your way. Trust me to supply what you need when you need it. Now, was that not apropos for you and for me today? It certainly was apropos for me. It says again, that last sentence, I will equip you as you go so that you can handle whatever comes your way. Trust me to supply what you need when you need it. All right. I mean, it sounds simple, huh? Now I have an easy trip. I'll just worry about today. I just know, I don't even have to know at the end of the day. I know that he's present. He is with me, and he's directing me. And the last thing he said was, trust me to supply what you need when you need it. I might not need something till 1 o'clock today. And I'm going to get it. And why is all this true? Why is all this absolutely true and going to happen? It's because I'm a child of God. I believe in God. I'm asking God for this, and I'm going to try and do the best of my ability, even though I'm going to fail sometimes. I'm not going to be, perfect like he was. I'm still a human being. I'm still a person living in a sinful body, but I'm saved by grace. and his blood that he shedded on the cross has washed away all my sins. I have continuous forgiveness. Each day I'm washed and made clean and whole. Every time I ask for forgiveness, I'm forgiven. Does that mean, like in the book of Romans, that I can continue just to sin one after the other and ask for forgiveness each time? No, heavens no. We know what we're supposed to do, but sometimes we do make mistakes because we're not in heaven yet. We're not, perfect yet. So that was a great devotion. And the scriptures that is derived, it says in Lamentations. We've never read one from Lamentations in the Old Testament, chapter 3, verses 22 through 26. Because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness, I say to myself. The Lord is my portion, therefore I will wait for him. The Lord is good to those who hope in him, whose hope is in him. To the one who seeks him, it is good to wait quietly for the salvation of the Lord. I want to read that one again. This is Lamentations chapter 3. Because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness, I say to myself. The Lord is my portion, therefore I will wait for him. The Lord is good to those who hope is in him, to the one who seeks him. It is good to wait quietly for the salvation of the Lord. Wow, what a great scripture. I've never read Lamentations that much. The next one is from Proverbs. And, Proverbs are kind of an instructional thing. It's Proverbs 16:9. In his heart, a man plans his course, but the Lord determines his steps. There it is. That's the one that I said, that you make your plans, but he provides the steps. All right. And the next one is a psalm. And this is in the New King James Version, a more modern English. And it says in Psalm 34:8, Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the man who trusts in him. Man, this is great today. This is really, really good. Excuse me 1 second. Okay. So I think that was a very good devotional today. It was for me anyway. And those scriptures are fantastic. Because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for his compassion never fails. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness, I say to myself. So you can say to yourself every single morning that everything is new and his compassion never fails. So it doesn't matter what you've got in your life going on, what's going on in your mind, what concerns you have. He is faithful. He is faithful to provide, and you shouldn't have to concern yourself with whatever it is that you're letting evil or the world or whatever you're thinking of that gives you concern. Don't be concerned. Don't be anxious for nothing, the Bible teaches. If you just do the simple thing of doing the best you can be, right from wrong. We talked about that. Just try to do everything right. Don't harbor bitterness and judgment on people. Be kind to everyone you talk to. Show love. I mean, that's it. Simple. Done. I don't need to speak anymore. Treat others like you want to be treated. Be loving. Don't be judgmental. Don't hold bitterness in your life. And those that are ugly and rude and that they're absolutely evil, you don't have to be nice to them or anything. Just move on from them. Move away from them. Ignore that. That is part of the world that God takes care of. And there will be judgment, and he will take care of that. But don't get it all wrapped up in your head that makes you hate or judge or put it on somebody else that doesn't deserve that. When you see things you don't understand and it's ugly or something like that, just release it. Don't respond to it, because that's not gonna. It's futile. It's futile. That's just a waste of your time, and it's not your job. So, folks, I hope you like the Crushing It for Christ this morning. I hope that you will pray for my journey today, and that I'm not overweight, and that the Tundra is going to pull this crasher. The Crusher is going to pull the crasher, and that I have direction where I'm going. So many of you are constantly telling me in the comments that you're praying for me, that you love me, and that you are wishing the best for me in my travels and safety. And I mean, not just one or two. I mean, there are dozens of comments that I read that, you know, it's not something that anybody had to say or take the time to do, but they did. And so I am so wonderfully blessed. And this is how God is working in my life. This is how God, since I don't have a travel mate or somebody with me and I'm kind of alone, this is how God has given me the company and the assurance that I have, you know, this love, this companionship with me through my channel. And you're sprinkled all over the country. And it's just fantastic. So I want to just say thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. I invite you to continue to come along this journey of this channel that's about nothing. And I hope that those that enjoy the spiritual videos that I make, that you do enjoy them. And I hope those that this may not be your thing, or you worship a different religion, that you will continue to watch my videos and like the other content that I put out. So thanks very much, everybody, for subscribing to the channel. I invite you to please check your subscription again to make sure that you are subscribed. You haven't been unsubscribed, which some people have reported they have been. We're trying to get to that 100,000 so I can get that big time plaque. Then I can run down to Wells Fargo and say, what do you give me for it? And they're going to say nothing. But it will be a bragging right, and that will be a goal that I do have. And so I appreciate if you do that so much. Remember the links that I have on my YouTube channel and in the description box of all my videos. Should you decide you'd like to support the channel through either a Buy Me a Coffee link or the Amazon link, I really greatly appreciate it. So until the next video, let's get out there today and crush it.